morning, boys and girls. Mr. Ousley here, coming to you live from the playroom. We're going to look at a brand new game today called Double Compare. Although it's not really brand new because you've played it before back when we were in Unit 4. But today, Double Compare offers a new challenge. You're going to be using cards with larger numbers. Now, parents, you know your kiddo. If they're not quite ready to move into those larger numbers, you can have them play with cards up to 6. But definitely there are some options with this game. All right, so let's get into it. I have my primary number cards. You're going to start by dealing them out. Now this game is for 2 players, or 3. You could play with 3 players also. If your child is playing by themselves, you just want them to make 2 separate piles of cards. If they're playing with you or a sibling, you want to deal to each person playing. Okay, face down. When you deal them, you want to deal all the cards that you have that you're using. In my deck, we are using cards up to 10. And I'm just going to run you through that. I'm sure you guys noticed on the recording sheet that I only have space to record 3 problems. When you guys are playing the game, I want you to record just 3 problems, and then you can play the game as we played it before, without the recording. All right, so I have my 2 piles, pile 1, pile 2. I'm playing by myself. All right, so here we go. My first hand, I'm going to take the top 2 cards off the deck, and that's what I got, a 1 and a 1. Okay. Now, when you take the top 2 cards off the deck and you look at them, you want to start to think about how many you have in all. You're going to combine these numbers together. Okay. The other hand, I had a 5 and a 5. All right. So I'm going to record this on my recording sheet. I have some tools that I'm going to be using. I have a number line, I have an abacus, and I've got my 10 frame. Although the 10 frame I have, you'll see that there are 2 10 frames, which gives me a total of 20. If you are playing the game with cards up to 10, I want to make sure that you have 2 10 frames if you're using that as your addition tool, because you could potentially work up to 20. All right, so I'm going to start with my number line here. I'm going to start with this first hand here, my 1 and my 1. I know what you're thinking. You've already done that in your head. But I just want to show you how to use the number line as a tool as you're playing this game. So I'm adding 1 and 1. So my number line, I don't need too many numbers on my number line. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I'll just take my number line up to 8. Okay. First card was a 1. That's going to be my starting point. I'm going to put a dot on 1. And then I am adding on or counting up 1 more. So I'm going to do 1 hop on the number line. And that takes me to 2. So for my first hand, I'm going to record my equation. It would be 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. I have my recording sheet over here. Not really a sheet, I'm using a board. So the first card I had was 1. Second card in that hand was a 1. My addition sentence would be 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. All right, that's the first hand. Easy enough. Second hand, which we've already identified as the winning hand. And you knew that right away because you know 5 is bigger than 1. So 5 and 5, we're going to combine those 2 amounts together. Again, I'm going to use my number line. And because I'm using the numbers 5 and 5, I'll set my number line up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. As you're using a number line as an adding tool, you want to make sure, especially when you're playing this game, that you don't start making a number line before you see what your hand is. If I made a number line and just numbered it 1 through 10, that might not help me out because I could get a total that is bigger than 10. So if you're using a number line and a tool in this game, wait to mark it until you see what your hand is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Okay. So again, here's our hand starting number of 5. I'll put a dot on my 5 on the number line. The other card was also a 5. So we're going to do 5 hops. Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I landed on 10. So that means that 5 plus 5 is equal to 10. So I'm going to come back to my recording sheet on my board over here. The second hand was a 5 and a 5. So my number sentence is going to read 5 plus 5 is equal to 10. All right, so you notice that there's a circle here in the middle of your recording sheet. What I want you to do is I want you to compare your totals. And we're going to do that. Let me show you this quick anchor chart here. We're going to do that using symbols, a greater than symbol and a less than symbol. So I'm going to bring this up here to the screen. Can you guys see that? There you go. It says greater than, less than. Yikes. Sneaky, sneaky alligator is hungry for his lunch. Find the number that's greater and crunch, crunch, crunch. Okay, so you see this is our less than symbol. This is our greater than symbol. I always remember the less than symbol because it looks like an L. Less. What sound do you hear at the beginning of less? Oh, that's right. An L says oh. So this is our less than symbol and our greater than symbol. The most important thing to remember, boys and girls, is that you always want the mouth facing the bigger number. If you look down here at the bottom, you could see that they're comparing two numbers, 4 and 7. The mouth is facing the 7, and we would read this as 4 is less than 7. On the other side, they're comparing 9 and 3. 9 is the bigger number, so the mouth is facing toward the 9. And we would read that as 9 is greater than 3. Okay? So we're going to put those symbols in the circle. We're going to have the mouth facing the side that is greater, that has more. Okay? So I'm going to come back to my board here. Here's that circle in the middle I was talking about. Now this hand was 2. This hand is 10. Pretty easy, right? You guys know which is greater. Definitely 10. So we're going to draw the mouth facing the hand with the 10. And that would be a less than symbol because it looks like an L. So we would read that as 2 is less than 10. Okay? And that's how you do it. All right? Now, if you guys are playing with somebody, and I hope you are, it's more fun that way, the person who had more is going to take all the cards that were played. So these 2 5s and these 2 1s, I'm going to put them on this side. Okay? At the end of the game, you guys will count up how many cards you have, and whoever had the most cards wins the game. All right, next hand. Next hand on this side. Okay, so my first hand, I had a 5 and a 6, okay? I'm gonna write that down on my recording sheet. One card was a 5, the next card was a 6. All right, so let's start to combine those together. I'm gonna grab another tool that I have, my abacus, all right? I'm gonna slide over 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, okay? And we combined that with 6, so I need 6 more. Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I'll take one on the bottom, okay? So let's count these up together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right, so our total for that hand is 11. An easy way to do that with the abacus, you guys remember this group here, this white group, there's 5 here, there's 5 red. You could say, oh, I already know that 5 plus 5 is equal to 10. Add one more and you have 11. So our first total was 11. Let's say 5 plus 6 is equal to 11. My second hand, I had an 8 and a 1. I'll record that on my chart. An 8 on this card, a 1 on this side. We'll use the abacus again. And take my group of 5, and then 6, 7, 8. Okay? I'll slide over one more for my total. Here's a group of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 8 plus 1 is 9. So I'll record that on my recording sheet. 8 plus 1 is equal to 9. So we're going to compare this hand of 11 to this hand that's 9. We want the alligator's mouth to face the bigger number. So where's that mouth going to be facing, the 11 or the 9? Which is greater? You got it, the 11. So we're going to draw our alligator's mouth facing the 11. So we'd read that 11 is greater than 9. Okay? The side that had 11 is going to keep the cards. All right. This is our third round. All right. First hand was a 4 and a 1. Next hand was a 9 and a 5. All right, so I'm going to record that on my recording sheet. First hand was a 1 and a 4, and the other hand was a 9 and a 5. All right, I'm going to grab my other tool that I brought here, my 10 frame. I'm going to use this to help me add. We'll start with 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we're going to add one more chip. 4 plus 1 is equal to 5. So I'll record that. The other hand that I had a 9 and a 5. So we'll put 9 on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Clean that up a little bit. So there's 9. I'm going to add 5 more to that. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right. So let's figure out how many that is in all. Our top frame is 10, so we know that's 10. So here's 10 on top. We're just going to start here by counting on. So this one will be 11. Count with me. 11, 12, 13, 14. 9 plus 5 is 14. So, this hand was 14, and this hand was only 5. Which is greater? Definitely 14. So I'll have the mouth facing that side. Okay? And that's how you're going to fill out the recording sheet. All right? Remember, the player that had the greater number, if you're playing with another person, they'll shout, more! But you definitely want to double check the math, and whoever had more gets to keep all the cards. Okay? After you've done those 3 on the recording sheet, you don't have to record anymore. You can just play the game, calculate who has more, and then say more if you think you have more. I'm going to do one more hand for you. Okay. So first hand was a 2 and a 3. Next hand was a 6 and a 3. Okay, now you could look at that right away and say, well, the 3s are equal, they match, but that player had a 2 and this player had a 6. So this person will right away yell, more, and they'll have more. Okay, so a lot of good math thinking will happen during this game. This is one of my favorites. I hope you guys enjoy playing Double Compare today. Have a great day.